I'm George Nordhaus, and welcome to Monday Morning. This is, I always say it's different, but this is the most different one we've ever done. And I'll explain it to you. Generosity leads to reciprocity, how you have to give before you expect to receive. What the world is this thing all about? What's that got to do with insurance agents? Well, when I heard Carlos Vargas, and he's in Dorchester, Mass, Vargas and Vargas Insurance Agency, make a presentation to the Summit Group. That's the one online, and I won't go there right now, but it was such a good presentation. And I thought, oh my gosh, how intriguing that is. What in the heck is he doing to get to give before you receive to the real estate people? And he explained it, and I'm going to have him explain it to you. I don't know. That's enough, Carlos. You tell us. What's it mean? What are you doing?
Hey, George, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with you. I've known you for a long, long time. It's great to connect with you here. So a whole bunch of years or so ago, this really started with reading a book called The E-Myth, about working on your business, not in your business.
Oh, yeah, right.
Right. So that was maybe 10 or 12, 13 years ago. But I started off 36 years ago as a Prudential insurance rep. So what my goal was to sell a lot of life insurance, but I was selling a lot of life insurance to people who were buying homes. So I started developing relationships with real estate agents so that they would think of me at the time that their buyer needed that insurance binder. And slowly over the years, it just kind of expanded on the relationships with the agents. Then about 13 years ago, I read that E-Myth Revisited, the E-Myth Revisited, I was in the trenches along with the 18, 20 people that we have at our agency. Today we have 22 employees.
Mm-hmm.
And it made sense to have somebody driving the bus versus just another rider on the bus, right? So my job is to be out and about in the community, to be networking with real estate agents, loan officers, closing attorneys, anybody who will hear, hey, where do I get an insurance binder? Maybe they're new to Massachusetts, they're new to the cities that we have two agencies in. So hopefully I'm top of mind, or the agency is top of mind when somebody needs an insurance policy. So about 4 years ago, I connected with the Mortgage Marketing Animals, this amazing group of loan officers who have been connecting with real estate agents for many, many years. Their leader is Carl White, and Carl shows the loan officers how to connect with real estate agents. And it's really through giving. You have to give before you can expect to receive, right? Many of us go into, and I know there's some insurance agent friends of mine who go into real estate offices and they're leaving maybe a pen, a piece of paper. They're really not giving anything of value, right? So what we started doing was we started using Carl White's methodology of educating the real estate agents on how to grow their brand online, how to market themselves. So we're giving, and as a result, we're receiving. Like last week, we had 69 homeowner quotes come into the agency.
My gosh, holy mackerel. Bad week, huh?
It typically, it was, because we're typically between 80 and 90 quotes a week coming into the agency.
I was kidding.
So we had a total of 170 quotes. The rest were umbrellas and auto quotes. So my job is to get the phones to ring for property claims. So our niche is to educate real estate agents on how to grow their brand online, and as a result, they feel as though they owe us something, right? Generosity leads to reciprocity, working on their mental psyche. So this is the presentation that I do. I've done it 30, 40 times in the last 12 months. Since then, I've got my real estate license because, I like to talk to them on a more familiar level, right? So feel the pains that they're feeling, reading, and I really enjoy going to get my continuing ed, because then I meet more real estate agents at the class. So it allows me to continue to expand my my network of realtors. So I probably have close to 4,000 realtors in my database. I touch them once a week with this class, and then we send off a reminder. The class is every Tuesday. It's online, and this is the most this is probably the class that they really enjoy because I show them how to focus on getting expired listings, for sale by owner listings, and how to do a listing presentation using what they call results in advance marketing.
All right.
So, do you want me to go through my slides here?
I absolutely do. I want you.
Okay.
Okay, so now you send this, and so people, all these real estate agents all over your, I mean, I guess in your territory, are going to be calling in on the thing to listen to what
Right.
you're about to show us right now.
Yes, but I get a much bigger bang when I show up at their office and I give them a handout and I give them my information on the agency and I do this live. But
Oh,
this we have this recording that we share with them, and then I did 2 of these live presentations last week.
wow,
One office had like 12 agents, the other one had like 17 agents in it.
beautiful.
And I grab all the business cards and I add them to my database. And we just keep touching them. So
Terrific.
I'm
Okay,
going to go
show me.
along.
Show me. I'm
Okay, so
I'm a real estate guy. I'm coming in. Okay.
so you're working at UW Realty Company. This is the presentation that I did this Saturday. It's called Results in Advanced Marketing Expires and for Sale by Owner Listings. Right. I talk about who we are. I talk about an independent agency versus a direct writer. One has one flavor, vanilla. The independent agencies have, we have 9, 10, 11 different companies in our agency.
Right.
I talk about service. That's what sets us apart from everybody else. I talk about the lines of business that we do, the auto, the home, the condo, master, the flood. I talk about that we also do realtor bonds because we do realtor bonds in-house through Travelers. They allow us to do it. So I like them to come back and visit one of our offices and get their realtor bond and meet some of our rock stars that work for the agency, and they're now a little bit more entrenched with the agency. But this is the presentation. I talk to them about all the lines of insurance that we do.
Terrific idea. I love that bond.
I talk about, thank you, I talk about the companies that we have. We have Commerce, Norfolk and Dedham, Travelers, we have the big boys, we have a really competitive array of companies. I talk to them about this is where all these class replays reside. They reside in our learningtoolbox.net site. That's a site that we own. And so this is a list of the classes: hold your most popular open house, blow out your business, farming your database. So we help real estate professionals sell more property.
Wait a minute, let me ask.
My goal.
Let me ask a question. You mean now is all this recorded on your website?
It is. It is. These are all. We have all of our classes going back to 2013
Oh my God.
on the learningtoolbox.net website.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's
And it kind of shows a picture of our staff and make us part of your home buying team, right? So we want them to think of Vargas Insurance as the agency to send my buyers to, right?
Fabulous.
Yeah. So and we're also part of this Agent Mastermind Facebook group. It's a closed group. There's about 16,000 agents there. I spend a little time every day there trying to see what they're talking about, so then I can take it to my group and share it with them. Okay, because most of these agents, the most successful agents, so I break down the agents, and it's probably a good place to stop here. I break down the agents. They're either stallions or they're ponies, right? A stallion is somebody who's just doing 20, 30, 80, 100 home sales per year. A pony is somebody who's just starting out, or somebody who's dabbling in the real estate part-time. I'm not really, I don't focus on the ponies. My focus is the stallions. So when I do this presentation, there's a report card that I hand out before. It's not part of this presentation, but it's a separate piece of paper altogether. I hand out this report card, and I ask them, and the questions are, how many buy-side sales did you do in the past year? How many listings did you do? Do you need help with working your Facebook or your Pinterest or farming your database? And really, the only bit of information that I'm super hyper-focused on is how many buy-side sales they did, right? Because the agent that's going to refer clients to me are the ones that are selling the homes, the ones that are riding around with the potential home buyers in their car. So I super focus on the buy-side folks and not so much on the listing folks, because listing folks, they don't control the buyer, and the agent that sends me the business is the buyer agent. So I'm always looking for buyer agents. I'm always looking for stallion buyer agents. I don't spend a lot of time on the ponies because they're great people, but this is just a part-time job for them, and they don't really, they don't do a lot of homes.
All right.
My focus is the stallions. Okay. So then I talk about this. This is the game plan. We're going to talk about lead generation. We're going to examine cold calling versus in-person visits. We're going to talk about the essentials of selling and a daily success plan. The law of reciprocity and the mentality behind it results in advanced marketing, prospecting tips, 4 scripts, things you should do, right? So this is the menu that we're going to that I present to them. And then I talk about the essentials of selling. People do business with people who they know, like, and trust, right? Until they see you face to face, they're really not going to know you. People are going to do business with you if they see you. So this presentation really focuses on you going out and banging on that door. You're going to visit the home with the results in advanced marketing, and that kind of gets a little bit further. That shows up a little bit further here. So people do business with people who they know, like, and trust. Find opportunities to eyeball your leads, to shake their hand and introduce yourself, and not as a postcard or a voice message, right? Because it's so easy to send off 50 postcards or to leave 50 messages, right? But the ones that are winning the games are the ones that are pulling up in front of the house, banging on the door, and introducing themselves to the homeowner, right? So the essentials of selling, you have to time block. I time block. I learned how to time block years ago. Every Monday, I call from 9 to 2. I call all the people who referred business to us this past week, and I thank them. I ask them how their weekend was. I frog them. Okay, so frog means I talk about their family, their recreation, their occupation, or their goals. So if I'm calling you George on Monday, the call goes like this: Hey George, how was your weekend? And you'd say, it was great. I would say, did you work or did you play? And you say, I played. Wonderful. It's great to recharge your batteries. How's the year going? The thing is going fine, Carlos. I'm having a banner quarter, banner year. I'm hoping that you're meeting your goals. And George, can I count on you to keep Vargas and Vargas Insurance, if you speak to anyone this week who needs a homeowner's insurance quote, who needs an honest homeowner's insurance quote? And you're going to say, of course I can.
Yeah.
You're not going to say no, right? Because
Absolutely.
you and I've given you this presentation. You and I have connected. If you were to say, yeah, Carlos, I had a great weekend. I worked all weekend. And I would say, hey, George, can I count on you to refer anybody to me who needs an honest insurance quote? And you're going to say, of course I can. So that's part of this whole, I talk about that they need to they meet at least 3 in-person visits a day, 12 to 18 success phone calls a day. This is known as money-making activities, right? So it's kind of, and use your loan officer and insurance agent as an accountability coach. I have 6 or 7 real estate agents and loan officers on Monday that I call. Hey, what are you doing to grow your business? I call them. It's the accountability call. What are you doing to grow your business? Oh, I'm going to go visit an office. And I say, well, geez, I know George is one of the leading agents. So why don't you see George while you're there? So I'm always trying to add value to what they're doing.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Frog stands for family, what? Relatives?
Recreation.
Oh, recreation, okay.
Occupation.
Occupation and goals.
And goals. Or you can go forward, F-O-R-D, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, right? I talk about goals because they're agents and they're loan officers. You know what I mean? So they're, how's your year going? So I frog everybody. Now, many times they'll throw that back to me and they start asking me about my family, how am I doing? That's a hot potato. I'm not calling them to talk about me. I want them to know that I care about them and I'm calling them to talk to them about them and their family, their goals,
Got
and
it.
their dreams, right? So, I've got this egg timer that I put on top of my desk, and the calls go about 3 minutes, right? So, and here's why I limit the phone calls to about 3 minutes. If our conversation on Monday went 15 minutes, right? The next time you see my phone call on your cell phone, and you can say, oh, Carlos is going to occupy a quarter of my hour, I'm not going to pick it up, right? So I take my timer. George is on the phone. I say, hey, George, how's it going? Did you work? Did you play? Did you recharge your batteries? Anybody that you can work with? You know, is there some way that I can help you? So, and hey, George, I know, and I end it by saying, so if the call is going beyond 3 minutes, I say, hey, George, I know that you're super busy, man. I'll catch up with you next week, and I flip my timer over, and I make the next phone call.
Good for you. Boy.
All right, so I limit to 3. Okay? So
Fabulous.
ask yourself, what is the competition doing with expired? Sending out postcards, calling, leaving voice messages. Ask yourself, do I want to be another postcard or a voice message, right? Do I want to be swimming in the same fishbowl as everybody else, or do I want to stand out? And that's what this presentation comes in. It shows them how to stand out.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So cold calling versus, so you pick what fits best, right? Cold calling, you know you've got to call an awful lot of more people than you do banging on the door. You know, I'm a door banger. I used to bang on doors. I used to go beat the bushes looking for anybody who was interested in insurance back in my life insurance days. So this presentation comes in real handy if somebody's not afraid to ring the doorbell. And the best time to ring the doorbells, I share this as well, is between like 3 and 5, 3 and 6, Monday through Thursday, right? Because most parents have to get the kids off the bus, they come home to start dinner, and you're just there for a quick 30 seconds. You're not going to walk in. You want them to meet you. You want them to see that you're delivering something of value, and you just want them to give you the okay to call them back, right? You're not there to sell them anything. You're there to let them know who you are. Right, so then I talk about cold calling versus in visits. Time block 4 to 6 hours a week for cold calling. Call 60 to 90 leads a week. Don't take incoming calls. Don't sell anything. Right, the total motivation behind the call is to get in the door. Right, when you're in the house, that's when you sell yourself and your services. Right, 50 to 60% of expireds won't pick up the phone call. So out of 60 people that you've called, you're only going to talk to 24 and 30, right? 24 or 30 live conversations. The goal is to get 5 appointments. The only reason you're calling is to go face-to-face, agree with what they say. If they start talking about the home, you ask them whether it's oak flooring or cherry flooring. Is it, how old is the roof? You want them to know that you care about them and their home, not trying to get the listing, right? And any selling is done face-to-face. After the prospecting session, put the notes in the database. And many agents don't have a database. I tell them that I use HubSpot's free CRM as a database. We have a couple of them. Cold calling versus personal visit. Use results in advanced marketing, and that's going to come up here. Prepare for your marketing pieces, right? Ring the bell, and there's a 50-50 chance that they're going to be there. Set up an appointment, to review the marketing materials, and you have a higher rate of conversion if you make the visit, right? The law of reciprocity. Reciprocity is in social psychology, refers to responding to a positive action with another positive action, rewarding kind actions, right? So if I helped you on the side of the road change your tire, right, you're going to think of me, you're going to think, geez, what a great guy. I need to buy him lunch. I need to send him something. It's kind of the same thing here. If you provide marketing materials in advance of your meetings, you begin to build trust and bond with the sellers. You may receive positive action from the seller, right? So your goal is to chase this expired and let them know that you're not like the rest of the real estate agents. You're totally different. So when you show up at the door, you're basically there to have an eye-to-eye contact with the person whose home is expired. Your focus is on marketing their home, and the flyer, never talks about what the price of the house is. You're there to help them market their property. Because when you start talking to people whose listing has expired, right? So the home didn't sell. And most likely that homeowner is going to say, there's probably a 95% chance they're going to say, that agent did not market my property correctly. They didn't put it on YouTube and Facebook and all this other stuff, even though the agent may have been the biggest badass marketer in real estate in that community, right? The consumer always thinks that the agent just didn't market the property correctly. It's not that the property may have been overpriced. It's not that the property may have not shown well. It's always the fault of the agent for not marketing correctly. So if you show up already knowing that in advance, you have a much better chance at winning that listing. What if you prepared all of these things when you show up to their door, right? And you dropped it off to them in a flower pot. So you're dropping off a brochure, a business card, a flip chart. You're dropping all that stuff and you're leaving. So you basically ring in the doorbell. You have a flower in your hand. They think they're getting flowers from someone, and that someone is you. You drop off the brochures and the business card and the postcard all in this beautiful flower pot. That can all be done on this agent marketing. This is a website that I have no affiliation with, but I talk about the agents being able to, for $29 a month, $10 a month, being able to do all of these funky, nice brochures that they drop off at the plant, right? So let's start with leads. Why do we need leads? Leads are the gas that gets the car going, right? So don't wait for the phone call to ring. Does the offense or the defense win the game? It's the offense. So I talk about either getting on the phone and making personal visits. Go on the offense, buy leads. I talk to them about where they can buy leads. You can buy expireds. You can try to do this all yourself. You can do the expireds. You can try to figure out who the for sale by owner folks are. You can look them up in the paper. But that's going to take time. It's going to take up an awful lot of your time, and you should be making phone calls and making face-to-face visits. So you can buy the leads here or here. I have no affiliation here. I don't really care who they go with. I just show them that if they're wondering where they can buy leads for expired listings, for sale by owners, and list pens, which is folks who are in foreclosure, starting the foreclosure process. The banks are starting the foreclosure process on them. These are two great resources. We talk about the number of leads. This 110 for sale by owner leads in 1 month. So if you have 110 people to call, 33 expireds in 14 days, you do the math. You spend, you buy 2,400 a year, and you just kind of get down the line here. So you're basically writing a small check to cash a big check down the road, right? And within 30 to 60 days, you start working your expires and for sale by owners. The for sale by owners are ready in 4 to 6 weeks after you saw them. So if you start doing a few every single week in 30 to 60 days, you're going to be a very happy person, and you can get. How can you get those listings? What's next? You can do some prospecting. Time. So you can time block 4 to 6 hours a week. Make the phone calls. Don't take incoming calls. Don't sell anything. 50 to 60% of the for sale by owners won't pick up the phone. You only have 20 to 30 phone calls or live people.
I want to make a good point out.
Sure.
The more you talk, which I love what you're saying here.
Mm-hmm.
I keep mentally thinking in terms of the fact that you're talking to insurance agents about selling. I realize, I have to remind myself and remind the listeners that you're talking to real estate people. But everything is, if an insurance agent did just this too, it'd be phenomenal, I would think.
Yeah, again, it goes back to giving them something of value, right? We all call the agents, we all call the loan officers. Hey, do you have any leads for me? Do you have any leads for me? Can I help anybody with their homes? At least you're giving them a little learning here, a little education. Maybe they haven't seen this before. Maybe they have, and they just forgot about it. So you're giving something of value to the agents. To the real estate agents, so that when it comes time for them to sell a home or one of their buyers needs insurance, you're the one that's top of mind.
No, obviously, it's but it really does. Everything you're saying here is marketing 101, I think, and which is a good thing because we forget about these things. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right, right. Yeah, that's fine. And you want to put everything in your database because you want to follow up. So don't take it personally, right? It's the law of large numbers. And it's funny, I did this presentation it was like January, February of 2014, 14, and the winter in the Northeast was awful. And so nobody was buying homes, and all of the broker owners were asking me to come in and do some presentations because they needed something for their agents to come in, at least to come to the office for, or something to get some knowledge from. So I did this presentation in a little suburb outside of Boston, and this is a brand new office, a brand new broker, and he had maybe 12 agents there, 10 agents there, 5 or 6 were brand new, and when this slide came up, he said, hey, Carlos, can I ask you a question? How do you deal with just hearing no all the time? And I said, Raphael, what do you mean? He said, well, some of these young agents, they get super down, they get so discouraged when they hear no, no, no. I looked at him and I said, Raphael, we're not order takers, right? If we wanted to be an order taker, we should go to the places that have the big golden arches and put on the nice fancy headsets and the suits, and we'll say, can I king size that for you? I said we're salespeople. We get paid to receive no's. So we need to go into the fight knowing that we're going to get a no. We just need to figure out who our yeses are, and you need to go in thinking that with all the different answers for their no's. And I said to him, we're not a perfect fit for anybody. We're not a perfect fit for everybody, right? If I could identify the 95% of the population that I'm not a perfect fit for, I would super hyper focus on the 5%. So you have to go through the no's. Don't take it, it's nothing against you. They're just not ready to buy. But I say to them, every time I hear no, I ask them, do you mind if I call you from time to time? And they say, oh, absolutely, please call me. Some folks will say, no, I'm not interested, I don't like you, your company, whatever, that's fine. But most folks will say, absolutely, Carlos, you're more than welcome to call me from time to time. And I said it to this broker, I said, time to time for Carlos is once a week. I call them once a week to ask them if they're ready, or whatever I'm doing, right? So you have to ask for permission to call them from time to time. And time to time for them might be every 3 weeks, once a month. For me, it's once a month. So for me, it's once a week. I don't stop calling until they tell me to stop calling, right? Because, don't give up after the first phone call. And there's a good stat here, and I'll show you. Mean versus nice. There's 2 different types of people out there. You're going to count to them all. But this is a mind-opening study here. So the Notre Dame study, 44% of salespeople quit after the first phone call, right? 22% of the salespeople quit after the second phone call. So I've called them once, they've said no. Twice they've said no. Another 14% quit after the 13th phone call, right? 12% quit after the 4th phone call. They haven't told you to stop calling. They're just not ready to buy, right? Right? But check this out, right? 92% of salespeople quit between the 1st and the 4th phone call, right?
Probably, yeah, I'm sure.
60% of sales close after the prospect has said no 4 times.
Wow, that's the big one. That's the
right. So, yeah, right. So until they tell you to stop calling, continue to call. So, and there's only 8% of the salespeople are left when the buyer is ready to buy. Call. I mean, we're salespeople. I know property and casualty agents. Some of us might be life insurance and commercial. But I mean, just keep calling until the client tells you to stop calling, and then move on. But until they tell you to stop calling, I would call them every single week. Do you mind if I call you from time to time? Time to time is every week for me, right? And then I go into then there's 4 scripts here. You're basically saying, hi, may I speak with Mr. and Mrs. Smith? the sale of, the home for sale at 123 Main Street. Then I kind of go into this, and I tell them that really the best part of this script, of these 4 scripts, is you need to say to them, I understand that you're selling your home for sale by owner, and I'm not trying to interfere with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're thinking that you're there to try to get the listing. The reason why they're going for sale by owner is because they want to try to save the commission. It kind of goes down here, right? So you're that nice agent who's going to give them a call. You're going to say, hey, okay, that sounds great. Do you mind telling me a little bit about the home? How old is the roof, the electrical? Is it on 100 amps, 200 amps? Is the oak flooring or cherry flooring? Because you want them to start talking about, to talk about their home.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds really nice. Is there a time that I can stop by and look at the property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're doing it for sale by owner, and when you stop by, and I'm just going to flip back here, I'm sorry to do this to you, George.
That's
when you stop by and you drop off this nice plant, right? This nice plant. Where's the plant? I didn't think it was this far back.
That's
so you drop off the nice plant.
There you go.
Right here. So you drop off this nice plant with the information on their property. Now, they haven't given you the listing, right? They haven't given you the listing. You've created this for them to show them how you're going to market their property. And once they've been beat on the head for so long with trying to sell the property, they're going to give you a call because that listing is sitting on top of their living room table, right? That plant is sitting there with your name and your information on it. So the goal, and that's really what the results in advanced marketing is you showing up at the door with a plant, with all kinds of information on their home, because folks don't throw away pictures of their homes. They don't throw away pictures of their family or the pictures of their home, right? So your plant is going to sit on their table, and when they've been beat up by people trudging through and not being nice, they're going to think of you as the agent that they want to do business with.
Right.
So we have the scripts. We've gone down here. One of my favorite scripts is this one here. I understand you're selling your home by owner, but I'm not trying to interfere with that. I was just wondering, are you cooperating with agents, right? No, we're selling it ourselves. We don't really need an agent, right? Are you selling yourself because you don't like realtors, or you're just trying to save money? Well, I don't like realtors. And then you basically go, I can appreciate your honesty, but if you don't like realtors, I bet it's because you had a bad experience. Yes, I've had a very bad experience. Okay, I understand, but have you ever had a bad experience eating out at a restaurant? I know I have, but that doesn't stop me from eating out, right? I just go to a different restaurant. And we can use that. I use that in my insurance practice. I use that all the time. No, I hate insurance agents. I bet you it's because you had a bad experience. Oh, it was awful, the company, this. Oh, but, and I go into the eating out bit here.
Got it.
So this is the 4th script. Things to do when cold calling, right? You can spend the money to buy the lists. You download the leads, and some of these lead source companies will give you client relationship managers, so your database, you can leave your notes there. Time block, I tell them that you got to make 15 calls per hour, 3 to 5 minutes per call, 60 to 90 minutes. You got to put it in your database. You set up 5 appointments and follow up with everybody, right?
Yep.
And most importantly is when reviewing the house, you want to focus on the conversation, not on the conversion, right? Because conversions happen after the conversations. Many salespeople forget that when they're making the phone call, they're not making the phone call to make the sale. They should be making the phone call to get in the door so that they can have a conversation, and then the consumer can feel good about doing business with them.
What do you mean by the word conversion?
Conversion means that they're going from somebody who was doing it on their own to now they're hiring you as the agent to list their property, sell their property, right?
Got it.
So that's where the conversion comes in. 5 top seller objections. I talk about all these different things with the agents, and you need to come prepared with answers for this. What commissions do you charge? 5-6%. Bring me a buyer. So you're dealing with a for sale by owner here. And there's an example of an agent. I think she's in Georgia. This is what she does. I recently noticed that your home is listed for sale and did and did not sell. That is unfortunate. I have already created the marketing information. So she delivers that flower pot with all the information on the home and this handwritten note for the consumer. Because sometimes the consumer is not home, and she says she gets listings upon listings upon listings
Wow.
because of this.
Another great idea.
Yeah. Create your cover letter, in advance, things to do, follow up with everybody. But then I talk about the interviewing. You're there to interview for the job, right? Focus on marketing the home, especially if you're dealing with expired. If the home didn't sell because the previous agent didn't do a good job, if you show up already with knowing that in mind, the consumer is most likely going to hire you, then this gives you an example of what that agent marketing website creates. It creates all this information, creates these little AV labels that you can put on with a picture of their home. You can put on the back of your business card. And so you're delivering your business card. Your business card is on one side, and their property picture and their QR code is on the other side. You send them an e-postcard so that they can share it with their friends and family that their properties are for sale. It's textable, so you can do that. That's what it looks like. And you sprinkle all that in this flower pot, and you just hand deliver it. But the thought behind this is you're showing up to interview for the job. Most likely they're going to interview other agents, but other agents aren't going to do this. Your flower pot, your information on the property is going to stand out, and this will make you stand out.
Mm.
So then I go into how to prepare for an expired. I kind of go through these with the agents. I give them some examples. So this is what some of the agents that I work with have done. I have an agent 2 towns over that he has a trunk full of plastic flowers, and all that he does is that agent say he has his handwritten note, "Dear Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I recently noticed that your home expired. It's unfortunate," and then he kind of goes into this heartfelt little thing, and he just drops them off at the door with his business card. That's his total marketing. That's what he does, and he's got 2 or 3 sales every single month from doing it.
Wow.
And these are just some examples, right, of ideas. This lady here on the lower right-hand side with the teacup, she inherited hundreds of teacups from one of her aunts, and she buys a 69-cent plant, and she puts it in with some dirt, and she delivers that.
That's great.
Yeah, right. It's funny. Last month, I spent some time with an agent who was long in the tooth like myself. She's approaching 60, and her and I went out and we did some flower pot deliveries. She's a client of mine, and she said, "Do you mind doing this with me? I don't feel comfortable going." I said, "Absolutely." So her and I, we put the flower pots together. I spent maybe half an afternoon with her, and we bought some flower pots, some dahlias, I think they were, or zinnias or something. They're real colorful. Maybe they were $6 at the local home center, Lowe's. I think she bought them at Lowe's, and she printed this stuff out, and we went out on the road and we made some cold calling together. Again, she's a client. Every lead that comes in the door that she sells, she sends them to me.
Absolutely.
Again, yeah, absolutely. I want her to feel as though I care, right? I want to see her succeed, and these are some more examples of folks. Some of the agents are delivering hanging plants up on the right-hand side. This is what they've done. And then typically, the agents will ask questions along the way. So when my presentation is up on their window, on their wall, this is what's behind me. So thank you for your time today. We are insurance brokers because my manager usually comes with me. We welcome your referrals, and we want to be your enabler of greatness.
Oh, that's good words. Love that.
We offer great communication, immediate insurance binders, amazing follow-up. Send us your first 2 buyers, and we will show you. So this is up on the screen behind us, and and if there's 15, 20 people in the room, we'll probably spend 10 to 30 minutes answering questions. And all that they're seeing behind me is this. I'm an insurance guy. I'd love to help you.
Oh boy.
Send me the next 2 buyers.
I'm knocked out. I'm this whole. First of all, you amaze me in the fact that you have the energy to do all this. I don't care what age you are, or any of us. I mean, yeah, and I mean, you must have thick skin. I mean, I don't see how. If I got that many no's, I'd go out and cry, I think.
Yeah, no, it's funny, and I tell the agents that, when I was a life insurance guy back in 1980, I knew that I needed to get like 16 no's before I would get a yes. And for me to get 10 to 15 appointments, I'd have to make 50, 60 phone calls. I mean, it's a lot of large numbers. If you're going into the fight expecting a yes, um, we're not going to make much money, right? So we need to figure out who our best customers are, and that's through making phone calls.
Let me ask
Connect.
you. Let me ask you. I hear you. Let me ask you a question that you're not expecting. This is so
Sure.
well done. And the fact that you have all those recording things on there. Have you ever considered uh, selling your whole system to other agents in other states, away no competitors?
No, because I'm sharing what that Mortgage Marketing Animals folks put out. So I'm sharing these videos are done by that group. I just brand them with my information and I share them with my agents.
Well, I hope.
Okay, so
Okay, it's just an
yeah.
idea. It's just so.
Yeah, no, but it's funny. But I've been asked to be a coach.
Mhm.
So somebody in the fall wants me to come in and coach all of his young agents. He's got this little independent office, and he's a superstar, and he's got a half a dozen young agents who are just starting out, but they need somebody to help. He needs someone to help them trained,
Yeah.
and I think I might spend a few hours a week in his
Oh, I
office
think
with
you'd
his
love it.
agents.
You would love it.
Absolutely, I love it.
And you're going to get more leads out of that one too. Well, listen, I know this is off the wall, the whole presentation. I've never heard anything like it. And I'm darn sure that agents have never anything like it. What you've done is you've grabbed onto one great industry, the realty industry, and I bet you in that you're around Dorchester, Massachusetts, there's nobody even in the real estate that thinks about anybody else but you. How could they? You're not going to give them a
They
chance.
don't.
All right.
Yeah,
What?
no, and if I could just leave you with one more bit of information as to the reason why we as independents should go after the agents, right?
Yeah.
Go after the
Real
the
estate.
real estate agents,
Yeah.
is because most of those, 99% of those policies are escrowed. So there's no replacement. Our homeowner book of business, if we lose a 0.5% of it per year, people don't shop around that product because it's included with their monthly mortgage.
Oh, I
So,
love it. I love it.
right, so folks don't go to Geico and Progressive, unlike auto insurance, which is not escrowed, right? So the home stays. That part of our book of business doesn't go away. It just continues to grow because it's paid for by the mortgage company. It's one and done.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for sharing all this. You're paying it forward, as they say. You're just helping the
Every day.
rest of us, and I just love that. And I can't thank you enough. And I'm really looking forward. I post these in addition to going out to 100,000 every week. I also post them I have about somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 on LinkedIn, Facebook, and I
Oh,
post them on
wonderful.
there, and then people reply. I'm looking forward next week. I'll put this on there. Let's see what
Yeah,
happens. I'll let you know, but I do get
yeah.
most responses. Okay?
And if anybody needs some help, I'm here. I'm here to answer the questions.
Well, that's very kind of you. That's why we got that number in there, and I appreciate it. Well, for the rest
Wonderful.
of you, we're just going to continue these really off-the-wall, very meaningful presentations, and I hope that you have another great week. And in the meantime, I'll see you again next Monday morning.